In a world that constantly pulls us toward noise and speed, many of us forget that true peace often lies in stillness. The Japanese concept we are about to explore, though simple, has been quietly guiding people for centuries toward a calmer, more meaningful life. Imagine standing by a quiet river, the water flowing gently, reminding you that life doesn't always have to be rushed. That is the essence of this forgotten wisdom. It invites us to slow down, to breathe, and to remember that inner harmony begins from within. This principle whispers a truth we often overlook. Life isn't about constant achievement, but about balance. It tells us that when we allow silence into our hearts, we rediscover clarity and calmness that modern life has stolen. And once we practice this, every challenge begins to feel lighter, every problem less overwhelming. The forgotten concept is known as ma, which means the space between. It's not just empty time or a pause, but a sacred space where life unfolds. Think of music. The beauty of a song isn't only in the notes, but in the silence between them. Without the pauses, melody turns into noise. Ma is the same in our lives. It's the gap that allows us to breathe, to reflect, and to truly feel alive. But many of us fill every moment with distractions, scrolling endlessly, working tirelessly, or rushing from one thing to another. When we learn to embrace ma, we begin to find healing in those pauses. It gives us permission to stop and notice the beauty around us, to reconnect with our inner self, and to realize that peace doesn't come from doing more, but from allowing space for stillness. One of the clearest expressions of ma can be found in the Japanese tea ceremony. To an outsider, it may look simple: boiling water, preparing tea, and drinking slowly. But within those pauses, there is deep mindfulness. Every gesture is intentional, every silence filled with presence. It's not about the tea, it's about creating space for reflection, for appreciation, and for peace. Imagine bringing that same awareness into your daily life. Instead of rushing through breakfast, what if you savored each bite? Instead of checking your phone between conversations, what if you paused and really listened? The tea ceremony teaches us that sacred space is not found in exotic places, but in the simple, everyday moments when we allow ma to exist. You don't need to live in Japan or attend a tea ceremony to experience ma. It can be found in the quiet sip of coffee in the morning, in the few minutes you take to watch the sunset, or even in the breath you take before responding in anger. These small pauses are where transformation begins. We create room for peace in the middle of chaos. When we consciously create these pauses, life starts to feel less overwhelming. Stress loosens its grip, and gratitude takes its place. Ma reminds us that life isn't just about action, it's also about the spaces in between, the moments that give meaning to everything else. When you learn to value those pauses, you'll notice your world change from restless to peaceful, from empty to deeply fulfilling. Ma is not only about personal peace, it also transforms relationships. Too often we rush to respond, defend, or prove ourselves. But the Japanese understanding of silence shows us that pausing before speaking gives power to our words. In that quiet space, empathy grows. In that stillness, we learn to listen deeply. Imagine how many arguments could dissolve if we simply allowed ma to guide our conversations. Instead of reacting in anger, we pause. Instead of filling silence with noise, we listen. The gift of ma in communication is profound. It teaches us that sometimes silence speaks louder than words, and in that silence, trust and understanding can flourish. Life today moves fast, and we've been conditioned to believe that more is always better. More work, more possessions, more noise. But deep down, your soul longs for something simpler, something quieter. That's where the forgotten Japanese concept of ma becomes a guiding light. It's not about doing nothing. It's about creating space for everything meaningful to enter. So today, I invite you to embrace ma in your own life. Allow silence into your mornings, create pauses in your conversations, find beauty in the space between. Because when you honor those quiet moments, you'll discover that inner peace was never lost. It was simply waiting for you to slow down and notice it.